Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Welcome back, all you citizens of the world. You're listening to Live from the Heartland, or you might be watching it. Our next guest is someone I don't know yet, but I'm going to get to know her through the course of this conversation. She is the one and only Amy Nelson Christensen, and she is an associate professor of the School of Education. She can fill you in on those details at Loyola University, which is kind of our home base for this radio show. It originated with WLUW doing it live on the stage at the Heartland, and now it's by Zoom. And I'm really glad to meet Amy. Hello to you, Amy Nelson Christensen.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I am a clinical assistant professor in the School of Education here at Loyola University, Chicago. I'm also the Associate Dean for Inclusive Excellence and Strategic Innovation. And I'm so grateful to have this time with you today.
Well, those are a lot of titles, and we can go into that more when we talk. But what really caught my attention was that you're involved in a project with the School of Education to help get necessary school supplies, I believe, for 5,000 plus migrant kids who are now in the Chicago public schools. Tell us a little bit about how this came to be, what it is, and how people can help out.
Yeah. So about August, we have a strong partnership with Chicago Public Schools as the School of Education, because a lot of our students do their field experiences or student teaching there. And as we were collaborating as a community member, we learned that CPS was facing a large influx of newcomer students, and we define newcomer students as students who they typically are refugees or asylum seekers, migrants who are new to the community. So we call them newcomers. And as you've probably heard in the news, there were migrants being bussed in and flown in, and there were waves of students that were just families coming through, and a lot of them had young children that needed to be enrolled in school. CPS was not expecting to have this large influx of newcomers. And since August, they've welcomed well over 5,000 students. And so as we look to the new year, we're also looking to make sure that the students that they're welcoming have the necessary school supplies, the foundational needs that they have besides food, water, shelter. They also need school supplies in order to access their learning. And so we partnered with Chicago Public Schools to understand the schools that were the hardest hit, and received a list of supplies that they need in terms of school supplies. And then we partnered with Impacts, which is a company that specializes in getting school supplies to schools and communities based on what they need. And we're really grateful for not only our continuing partnership with Chicago Public Schools, but also our new partnership with Impacts to create a school supply drive that will help us meet this increasing need, not only for the students that we've already welcomed since August, but the new students that we continue to welcome throughout the rest of the school year.
Amy Nelson Christensen, how many of these kids are in like the 49th Ward or close to Loyola? And are any of the schools that are heavily impacted in our area, or is it beyond?
So you can call me Amy, by the way.
Good.
Because that is a mouthful in and of itself.
I didn't even put the C in.
So what I would say is that they're actually all over the city. So the schools, the way that Chicago Public Schools handles their enrollment is they try to get the students in the schools that are closest to where they're currently living. That also does lead to some transitioning throughout the city. So I would say that they are in they try to put them in schools where there's the largest capacity. We have schools throughout the city, particularly in the Rogers Park neighborhood, that are the most equipped or have the most capacity because they already have newcomer centers and they've been working with students from migrant families or newcomer families for years. And then we also have schools that are kind of new to the needs of newcomer students. And so they're all over the city, and they're clustered around where newcomers are staying, particularly at shelters. And that can be in flux based on when they go from, temporary shelters or housing to something that might be a little bit more long term.
Well, I'm liking this because, I do always, in my own view of the world, welcome migrants and people seeking asylum. I also am pretty interested in what causes that. And I do blame our own government a lot on conditions in South America, et cetera. Um, what are the specific things that people need, these kids need? I mean, pencils, do they need clothes, any of that? And is it something where you're asking people to donate money or actually the stuff?
Yeah, we're asking for money. So the schools have provided us with a supply list. Impacts then took those supply lists and estimated how much it would cost to cover all of the things that they've asked for. They've asked for things like you mentioned, pencils. They've also asked for things like backpacks. Students are coming with nothing, absolutely nothing. They don't even have a backpack to put books in or anything like that. Paper, notebooks. So just basic school supplies that families just don't have the capacity to go and get. Some of these families are completely new to the American educational system. So they're not even aware of what the needs might be. So being able to just hand them a backpack full of everything that they need, or to go into a classroom where the teacher already has all the supplies necessary in order to just give to the student whenever they need it. They don't even have to ask for it. It really makes a big difference. So pretty much like basic things like papers, pencils, backpacks, and those kinds of things, even like pencil boxes to keep all their supplies together in one spot. And I think that, so based on that, we're asking for donations at $20 increments. You can make as many donations at $20 each as you want. So you can make 5 donations of $100 for $20 each, and that goes directly to the school. So we will use that money to then purchase all the supplies that the schools have requested, and then the supplies will go directly to the school. They don't have to go pick it up at some central location. Impacts, again, they do this for a living. It's what they do. They will ship it directly to the school. So then all the school has to do is give them to the teachers or give them to the students when they come into the schools.
Let me ask you, is Impact a for-profit company or a not-for-profit?
They are a not-for-profit. They actually started in Minnesota very similarly for a similar cause. I think they're from the Twin Cities. And they also have experienced their own migrant influx. And when they were faced with having to support students as they were coming into their schools in Minnesota, they had to figure out how they were going to get supplies into these communities, and Impact stepped up.
Amy, how's it going so far?
So far, we have only raised a few $100s, and we would love for any listener who feels compelled to support this cause to please check out School of Education at Loyola University Chicago's social media, Facebook. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn to find out how you can access the link, the donation page through Impacts to donate.
What are the specifics with LinkedIn and Facebook? Is it Loyola School of Education?
Yes. So Loyola University Chicago School of Education is our handle.
And do you have a goal for how much money you're trying to raise?
We would like to raise $100,000 in order to cover the costs of the supplies that the schools have requested.
So we have a ways to go. So hopefully,
We have quite a ways to go, and our deadline is February 5th.
okay, well, this is good. And do you have any other projects in the future in mind and doing good in the world?
We have a lot of projects at Loyola, particularly focused on our newcomer students at Loyola broadly. So we do have a winter drive campaign. So if you also are following Loyola University Chicago on social media as well, you can find out more information there. And we have also a lot of neighborhood events that we are supporting.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming on, Amy. And I do hope I meet you in person someday. And
Likewise.
as we like to say, keep doing good in the world, because the world needs all the good that you do, that I do, that all the people who are going to donate to this project will do.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And again, that aligns to Loyola's mission of faith that does justice.
Right on, sister.